just
All
slide
right,
up
all right.
all right to the Quebec at the top.
All right, so I'm here with Glenergy. We're gonna be talking about this new expansion of Burning Legion, and all the brand new weapons coming out.
Yeah, it's exciting. First day of BlizzCon 2015, and we found some new stuff on the awesome website Wowhead that Jacob will probably link in the description.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, they've been courteous to give us updates on some of the new content that they're showing, and we're just going to show you the different like base models of the legendary weapons for each class because the Wowhead people, like I said, they were so nice to find it, get it, and show it, and already have it on their page in the first day, so it's pretty cool. So we can look at it.
I know the big release of this was obviously during BlizzCon, which is still going on, I believe. Started Tuesday,
Exactly.
Thursday. I think it started
No,
Thursday.
no, it started today. I
Oh,
thought.
it started today.
Yeah, what did I say? BlizzCon?
Yeah,
Yeah, BlizzCon, right?
yeah.
Oh well.
Ah,
I,
whatever.
braining is hard. Anyway, so
Yeah. So I
moving
mean,
on.
obviously, I know when they actually first announced Burning Legion, they did a European release, and they
Hmm.
showed or mentioned a few of these that they're coming out. They mentioned the Druid.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
think there was
mean,
the
I think
Druid
those were just.
monk.
I think those were just like the test ones, like the Monk, Druid. And I think they also did the new Demon
They
Hunter
showed the
one.
token ones. They showed you the Paladin, the Ashbringer, and then I think the Death Knight one.
Yep.
I
I know
believe.
that what they actually did was they just focused on one weapon. So
Exactly.
just
For a
like scanning over
class.
this, they obviously got one for each spec. What they did during the European release was they just chose one of those three weapons, and they actually
Exactly.
showed you how you could change it once you started advancing it.
Yeah, and I think after this weekend, I have a feeling that Wowhead's going to have a complete way, like detail, mostly probably not spoil it, so it's not fun for us to play. So there won't be any surprises, but I think they'll probably have it so we can see just what you can customize with each of the weapons for each of the specs, which is really cool because each class has three. Obviously minus the druids, but every class has three specs, and much to our delight, there's a different weapon for each spec.
Yep,
So
Druids and Demon Hunters, because Demon Hunters actually only have two.
yeah, yeah, those are the two
Which,
exceptions.
it's going to be interesting to see how this whole new expansion plays out. Now,
I'm pretty excited.
before we actually start looking at these, which one are you most excited for? Which class?
I haven't seen anything on Warlocks yet, and the artwork with Warlocks is usually pretty badass. And since this expansion is dealing with demons and fell fire and fell just overall demonic crap, I
Hmm.
think that they're probably going to go full. You know, they're not going to they're going to hold they're not going to hold back any punches, I guess.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I definitely agree with you there. I think the demon or the warlock ones are gonna be pretty badass, just because all, especially the demonology. They have to do something awesome with demonology
hmm
because of this expansion. Obviously, I'm a big Druid fan, so I was the most excited for the Druid. And when I finally learned out what they're doing for Druids, I kind of nerded out and just nerded all over the floor.
Yeah,
But
that,
but
that was leaked pretty early, but now there's new pictures, and I think they didn't have the bear form yet, and now we have it.
yeah, they
So
didn't have bear form. I actually don't think they even had feral either. They didn't have guardian or feral. They
they had like
mentioned that
some,
they mentioned they were going to do something for it, but they had out one of the, I think, of the restoration staff at that time.
and something that we haven't seen yet, but I've read in a post on my Twitter account from Perculia, one of the main people that does Wowhead, um, that there's actually going to be customization in Boomkin form as well.
Oh, that's
But
gonna be
we don't
awesome.
know too much. I know they're getting for sure. I know that they're going to revamp the HD texture models and everything, make them look nicer.
That is gonna be cool.
So yeah, let's take a look at the Death Knight artifacts. Get
Yeah,
our first
go ahead and
view.
down the list. So obviously, Death Knight we got first. We got blood, ice,
Blood,
and then blood, frost, and holy.
obviously, just looking at these, obviously, in game these things are going to have all sorts of cool animations. They're legendary weapons, so that
Yep.
probably means that everybody's going to be using them at all points, which is awesome. And we'll just see how it plays out. But I think it's going to add another layer of customization and something that you can
That's
brag
right.
about. Something that you can literally be holding to show off. Hey, this
Hmm.
is me, and this is what I decided to do.
I mean, looking just off these, like, obviously, I don't see anything for blood, but frost and unholy, you definitely gonna have some type of aura glow going on.
Yeah, which
Which,
I am really excited about. I'll be
yeah,
honest.
I actually can't. I was looking at that unholy now. That green flame that looks like it's gonna come for that's actually gonna make it look a lot more badass.
Yeah,
That's
and
gonna be
and
so cool.
I remember in Mist of Pandaria they added like tassels and hair, you know, movements and
Hmm.
everything with actually just armor specifically, where your armor can move with your movement or flow with your movement and
So you
stuff like
move a
that.
little bit and like say like you have a. Well, that's just I know it's not
Just
in there,
like
but like a
string coming
scarf.
off
The
of your
scarf is
belt.
gonna be waving or something like that.
Exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
there's a lot
So
of
like
exciting
on
things.
the blood maw, the maw of the damned, that axe right there, you got obviously that cloth on the handle is going to be waving around as you swing it.
Yeah,
Which
I don't know what's going on the axe there, but since it's
oh,
blood
that almost
spec,
looks like energy sourcing through the whole thing.
yeah, exactly. But since it's blood spec, you kind of expect it to be dripping or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean they got to do something like that.
Yeah, but I think my favorite here is probably Icebringer, followed closely by Apocalypse, because
Yep, yep, yep.
I and like I said, we're just judging this based on what we see. I think eventually Wowhead will probably even have HD textures and like a the pop up that you can literally equip it on a character of your choice and look at what the animations look like thus far.
Which
So
is that's going to be nice because
yeah, we're
I
gonna be
wouldn't enjoy
checking that
anything
out.
more than popping in like
Hell
wonder how
yeah,
the ice spring will look on. All right, so
exactly,
next is the
exactly.
demon hunter.
Now
Yes.
I know Havoc, I believe, is the tanking spec, and then Vengeance is the DPS spec. That kind of shows. Although maybe that's not true because typically tanks are one hander and a shield or anything something like that.
That's what's gonna be different because like the whole demon hunter thing is completely different. They only have two different specs: one tank, one DPS, and they don't really tell you how they're gonna be tanking.
Oh, it looks like Vengeance, the bottom of the two, is the tank spec weapon. I was reading the Disciples of Illidan description here, and Havoc demon hunters deal quick and lethal damage with the twin blades of the Deceiver. These glaives have immense power cut through all that would stand in the demon hunter's way. And then Vengeance, demon hunters stand strong against all incoming threats. That sounds like a tank to me. I mean, I don't think they could tell us any easier. Their weapon of
Yeah.
choice are the war blades, which are infused with the might and incredible resilience of lost people. So resilience and stand strong against all incoming threats. That sounds like tank. So
Yeah, that's
cool. I mean, I'm gonna say Havoc looks cool. It looks like it's got some sort of crazy glow thing going on there with spikes coming off. Like I
and
don't know. It looks
I
neat.
gotta disagree with you. I definitely gotta say that vengeance. I mean, to me, it's the way that they're gonna be holding it. I think it's gonna definitely win my vote because obviously, Havoc it looks like just the dual
That's
twin
true.
blades that they've seen during the whole game.
That's
Where
true.
vengeance looks more of it's
Vengeance
like gonna
is
be like
new.
a yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a different way of how they hold it. I mean, they're not going. I don't think they'll hold it the same way as Havoc.
No, and I think for some reason I'm thinking back of maybe like a screenshot I've seen at some point showcasing something similar to what the Eldrachi Warblades are here for the Vengeance spec. And I'm pretty sure it looks pretty badass, like a mini shield on a weapon kind of thing. It's like all
Yeah.
I don't know. And if you can dual wield that as a tank, that
Oh
seems
god,
pretty
that'd be
badass.
amazing. I would
So
love to be wielding those as
let's
a
move
tank.
down to
Druids.
Jacob's personal favorite, the Druid.
Yes. And
Now,
this
just
is the
looking
reason why, right here.
right
Good
off the
old Phil
top.
finally has something amazing other than
Hold
just,
on, hold on, hold on. Take a look at the very top picture. Take a look at that armor. I don't think that's existing armor, but if it is,
that one? Yeah.
shame on me. But it looks really
See,
cool.
tier. Fuck, what is that? I want to say that's tier 7.
Whereas it makes sense. That's a Panda Land set because it looks like it's got that kind of Shaw energy on the tips of the
Yep.
helmet and the shoulder blades. But I want that. But anyway, yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
move
so
down
do
to
I.
what's
So
this.
do I. We definitely gotta,
Go back and do those.
gear our
Yeah.
people up to go grab those.
God, yeah. We have
Alright.
plenty of time. September's the release date, so we got to wait all the way next fall.
Yep. So let's see, we
The
got the
Scythe
four
of the
different here: the Balance, Scythe of the Loon, Fangs of Ashman, Claws of Ursak, and Gnar, the Mother Tree.
I'm gonna say that tree looks pretty badass, and if I had to
Yeah,
guess,
it
I would
does.
say that that purple aura is going to be pulsing up and down that, like it's kind of like a Avatar pulsing, life, earthy kind of look to it.
Yeah, that it does. And I don't know if it'd be pulsing up and down. More almost like it's gonna be flowing from the base out. So like the energy comes up through and just
Yeah, I
spreads out
mean
through the branches.
that would make me play Restoration right there, just so I can watch that beautiful thing. And
I,
yeah,
I really wish, like, if they don't just join Feral and Guardian back together this expansion, I wish they allowed Druids to have at least 3 specs then.
yeah,
Because, I mean, I would definitely want to go Guardian, just Restoration for that weapon. But,
yeah,
I'm always the tank and
and
kitty DPS guy, so and I'm loving that Guardian look. That
absolutely.
that bear is just.
And that staff, man. Uh, excuse me, the scythe. I mean, that thing looks pretty badass. Although I'm gonna say we've seen it already. It's we've seen scythes, so I
We
mean,
we have seen scythes, but looking
it's
at
got
that,
like
I do not see that as a scythe. That more looks like freaking one-handed scythe. Now, not like the full-on two-handed.
it looks pretty evil. There's like bones jagging out, or
That
like
looks like
jagged.
almost like it looks like you're gonna be holding it in one hand. Which, I mean, that's different. That's a different type of look that
Oh,
we've
it's
seen.
possible.
Which, I mean, that's kind of cool.
It's either gonna be really big or one-hander. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
if that thing is the actual size of a full-on scythe, that blade's gonna be
that was gonna
freaking
be huge.
huge.
Yeah. So
that's
that's pretty exciting. I mean, I
that's
don't
gonna
know
be
about
interesting
you,
to
but
see. That
looks like Druid is looking all specs.
Druid's
I mean,
looking amazing.
and I don't even know. We're gonna
Especially
see
that cat
screenshots
right
of
there.
what you can
Especially that
change.
cat. Look at that
The,
thing.
the cat and bear, yeah. I mean, just the customization options alone is getting me excited to play Druid, like all over again. So let's move down to Hunter.
Alright. Hunter.
Hunter. All
Oh
right.
god, that fucking gun. That damn gun.
So again, I don't want to judge it too harshly off the bat, but
I
it
mean,
looks pretty boring.
I'm sure they're going to wait for responses and possibly change things as come time.
Exactly.
I mean, that gun's just too plain. I mean, looking back at everything else, the Druid, the Demon Hunter, the Death Knight, it's just there's so much detail in the items. But
Yeah.
then you look at this gun. I mean, yes, there's detail. They got the horns. They got the detail on the horns. It's detailed, but it's plain.
And honestly, my hope, because there's so much time between now and the actual release date, I'm hoping that we're looking at somewhat of a base model.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, hunters. I mean, granted, all these weapons are going to be one and done, and we don't know exactly if you're gonna choose one of these three spec weapons, and then that's it for that character, or you're gonna be able to swap them out, but only have one at a time. I
Yep.
don't really know. It'll be interesting to see what Blizzard does. My guess is Blizzard has always kind of enticed people and encouraged you to make multiple characters and alts. So my guess is that it's going to be a one and done. Like you choose which weapon you want to have on that character, and the other ones become instantly unavailable to you unless you make another character of the same class.
I don't know if they're going to be one and done. I think it's going to be
It would be pretty harsh, yeah.
that would be pretty harsh because I mean obviously they really want you to dual spec. They've been putting that out there for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had dual spec for the last 2 expansions now. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's true. Dual spec is a good point, and I've heard that. I mean, are we just going to keep the one weapon and it's just going to transfer over its abilities? I'm not really sure, but I think I read a post that, you know, obviously they want to encourage players that play other specs.
hmm
That would be
I mean
kind of
that's
silly.
going to suck for the healers then because obviously you're not.
Right.
Gonna, I mean, we've all, at least a lot of people, have leveled healers because obviously, especially if you played during vanilla.
hmm
It was a
Oh
pain in the
God,
ass to
yeah.
constantly have to, it's like, alright, I'm going dungeon, respec. That's 10 gold. Every time you do that, it just starts stacking up.
I remember before you could respec, it was horrible.
Yeah. So you actually, I mean, most of the time people just didn't bother. You just leveled up as the healer. That's what I used to do.
Or sorry, I meant dual spec. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you'd level up the healer before dual spec, and you played healer from the beginning, and it was a pain
Yep.
in the ass. You couldn't wait for dungeon groups because that's where you were supposed
I
to be
think your
doing your
guild would have to help you pay for your respecs actually at some point. I
the
think I remember hearing of that.
yeah. Back when I was in one of the raiding guilds back in vanilla, wasn't one of those big end. Let's go raid every Thursday and Tuesday, and it was just one of those small. It's like, hey, let's get that's like, oh yeah, we need a healer. Does anyone want to switch? Everyone would chip in some silver
Yeah.
or gold to help you switch them. It's like, okay, then yeah, okay, I'll do it. So I mean, it's funny, amazing they got dual spec, and I'm
hmm
pretty sure if they just gave us one weapon, that would kill dual specking.
Maybe they'll just make it so absolutely horrible. Yeah, either they're going to make it so it's absolutely horrible that you would never even want to try to get a second one, or the other way is that they make it so it. Because I think if you see, there's like a screenshot. Let me see if I can find this for you, Jacob. But there's like a screenshot of the legendary weapon upgrades. That it shows you it's kind of like looking in on little circles, little points on your weapons. Here we go. I found it. Let me give you this link really quick.
Alright.
So scroll down to
The
um,
Ashbringer, that's another one they showed.
yep. So just a quick peek.
Yep.
See what it says, Echo of the High Lord. When you use Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm, Ashbringer will mimic that action after 2 seconds. Now that is both aesthetically amazing and DPS is like, wow. And that's that's like the base thing. Are you kidding me?
How far down is that?
Um,
Oh wow, looking at all these. Alright,
it's
I have to rephrase mine on the hunter gun. I'll come back to that once I find this echo of the.
on the second link that I gave you. It's right under upgrading artifacts. So just
There we
a
go.
little bit after. And just click on the Ashbringer, and it'll pop up the picture. The very first one
there we go.
says like Ashbringer artifact power 6,000. Now we don't know what
There we
artifact
go.
power is or any of that stuff. Do we get it? Is it something that accumulates over time over raids or other worlds interactions?
Echo
But
of High Lord.
look at that. You know what that means, right? It means that the sword is going to. Is it going to be floating? Is it going to just do that abilities separately? But aesthetically and DPS, that is insane, and that is the first thing you get right at the hilt of that blade. So
Mm-hmm.
that gets me personally incredibly excited, and I hope that's not just showing off, one of the cooler ones, and then they're all dumb.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But we'll see.
I mean,
And that's
it's definitely going to be awesome to be able to upgrade these weapons and personalize it, really, which you used to be able to do.
yeah, bring back some customization to the game. I understand Blizzard they took the role of pleasing the casual gamers and everything because that's kind of how video games are nowadays. But um, I think I speak for a lot of us that we all don't want the same specs. We don't always want the same abilities. We don't want the same rotations because
Yep.
everything becomes so dry. And if you're not doing exactly what somebody expects of you, there's just no fun. There's no underdog. There's no chance for you to be an underdog and come up. It's because everything's so dependent on if you're exactly what somebody expects you are, and that's always been kind of deterring me from playing the game more than I do. But anyway,
I mean,
shall we go back to the weapons?
yeah, just to actually touch base a little more on that because I mean, obviously, I've played Druid since vanilla, since my first character was the Druid, and I loved how I could signify my own Druid by building him in the one feral tree, which back then it was tanking and kitty DPS. You could build it to be kitty DPS in dungeons, in battlegrounds. You could go tank in battlegrounds. You could do that all in one tree. It wasn't like, oh, you want a tank? Oh, here's the Guardian tanking. Oh, you want DPS? Oh, here's the feral DPS. No, it was, you could spec it to where you could go and, alright, let's go into this raid. I'll main tank or I'll off tank. It's like, oh shit, we need more DPS. Alright, I'll go into DPS now instead. Or your DPS, shit,
Exactly.
the main off tank died. Alright, I'll jump into bear form right away and I'll jump in and help with that. It was so versatile. And,
Absolutely.
and so unique to whoever played it. it was the best thing ever. That's why I fell in love with it. They took that away now. It's like, obviously, yes, Druid's still my favorite, but I haven't had as much fun as I always had with it. Now that they're giving me that little bit more of a specialization, I think I'm going to come back and enjoy this game a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I think you speak with a lot of people. As soon as they see this, it's going to create a lot more hype, and I guarantee you that their subscriptions are going to go up because I know a lot of people that if I told them about this, they would probably do a double take and be like, "Are you serious? They're bringing customization and legendary." It's just a really cool hook.
It's not just
It's my favorite
transmog.
thing.
It's not just transmog
Exactly.
either.
It's
You
permanent.
actually have different abilities.
These
Which another
weapons
thing
have
to touch base
names,
on.
dude. That's awesome.
Another thing to touch base with special. Being able to uniquely define your own character is actually something I heard in the PvP that they're doing with spells now. But we'll finish up the weapons and we'll touch on that last. So going
Yeah.
back on that second page you showed me, very bottom, looking at that hunter's gun again, it's actually not that bad.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean we can refer back to this page back and forth and everything. On the very bottom picture?
Yeah, very bottom of the page, last picture, they got the bow, the gun, a mason axe, the frostborn.
Really? Is it because the eyes are glowing? Or like the
It's
glow?
definitely because the eyes are glowing. I don't know if it's also because of the background. Maybe it's making it pop a little bit more. It's I actually don't mind it the way that's looking like that.
It does speak a little bit better, and as long as
And the
it's
bow definitely looks a lot better too.
high, yeah. Well, we didn't even get to the bow yet, and I think you were mentioning, Jacob, that the bow looks a lot like something that came out of
Blood elves. It looks almost exactly like a blood elf weapon. It's like I feel like I could
yeah,
walk
like a
into
blood elf guard.
Silver Moon, kill one of the
Exactly.
guards, and pick up their bow and be like, "Haha! I got the same thing."
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, yes, there are a few differences. It's a lot more detailed. There's a little bit more to it, but it just reminds me too much of the Blood Elves.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I do know, just to say one quick thing of hype, I do know that Blizzard, and this is just to refer back to what you were saying about PvP, but I know that Blizzard is taking huge steps to reimagine the PvP in the way it does. And I'm hearing rumors on just a couple Google searches and everything based on talent trees and everything that it's possible we might actually get a new tree specifically for PvP, which would be
Yep. We'll
really,
touch
really
base
cool.
on that after we finish off these weapons.
Exactly.
'Cause
So anyway,
that's
survival.
yep, survival.
It's a pole arm, guys, or it's a
It's a
yeah,
polar
it's a
arm,
pole arm. Yeah.
which
So
it actually looks kind of badass too.
yeah, it looks
But
really cool.
from what you mentioned before we when we first started talking about this before we recorded, apparently survival's now going melee. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, and I personally I think that's fantastic. I think that adds more appeal to the class. Absolutely, survival's just been kind of
It's nice.
confused.
It's nice that they brought an old aspect of hunters back because back
Yeah.
in Vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. No, before Wrath of the Lich King, just in Burning Crusade and Vanilla, hunters had melee stuff.
Exactly, and rogues could use ranged weapons and benefit from those stats. And I think it was a good balancing issue or thing. But and I know it stopped hunters from rolling on everything. I know people were complaining about that, but at the same time, it is kind of nice if you give us if you give us. I don't. I play every class. Let's
Us.
be honest here.
Yeah.
But if you give Hunter that chance to have a two-hander, just give him, say, the pole arm. I think that automatically brings. I mean, you'll be seeing a lot more people raising their eyebrows, going, "Well, maybe I should, think again about playing a hunter." That's how I see it.
I mean, I'm definitely. I already have one of each class. I'm a Horde. I started off Alliance, but I got switched to Horde because of family, playing
Oh, we're
Horde.
all over the place. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Horde and Alliance. I got almost every class at 100 on Horde. I mean, I definitely want to get those close on Alliance too because I can play with everybody. But it's like I'll be playing every character to max. So I mean, I'm excited to be able to think about, you know what? Maybe I want to have a melee hunter now. I mean, that's
Right.
such a new aspect of playing hunter.
Be up there with your pet.
It's
That sounds
interesting.
fun.
Yeah.
It's new again. It makes it feel fresh. It's like having a new class actually.
I mean, that's making it even
Or-
better because now they're changing some they're going obviously, I bet they're not just doing hunters. I bet they're changing something in almost every single class. They're going to make some type of small alteration. but you got the new class, the Demon Hunter. You have now melee hunters. I want to see what's going to be next. It's going to be interesting. All right, moving on down to Mage.
Absolutely.
Mages are pretty interesting. Looks like they got the... Almost looks like the last one.
Sorry.
Frost. Yeah, no problem. Looks like Frost is almost a polar arm. Instead of a staff.
It's very pointy, and it looks. I think see that rock towards the base of it, that gem, whatever you want to call it. I bet you that's going to be floating, kind of just right off the end, which is really cool. I love it when they have those visuals with the rotation, and that's what World of Warcraft has always been about, and it really shows that with Heirloom and how many people take, that customization to that next level to get Heirloom items just so they can have those weapons and armor pieces that they used to have for not only nostalgia, but they put a lot of work in them. They're very cool.
Yeah. I always enjoyed collecting gear. I mean, I was
Also,
more of the tier guy myself, so on my Druid I pretty much have every single tier I can get out there.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm going to guess, by the way, that the fire weapon is a one-hander. I'm just going to guess that.
I'm going to say the same thing. I bet that's going to be a one-handed
because I know they can
sword.
use swords. Yeah. And I don't
Although if they make it dual wielding, if they're allowed to,
really interesting.
that'd be really. I think that'd actually be kind of badass.
Or maybe it comes with like an orb or something. Something you hold in your offhand, like a.
That's another thing. That's another good question. I mean, obviously, the weapons scale to what they are. So obviously, two-handers are better than one-handers, unless you have an offhand to match it. But
Well,
I haven't seen anything about offhanders yet.
We scroll down, you'll get to see. Oh, and really quick, something I picked up from that other page: the Frost Death Knight weapon is actually dual wielding. It's Icebringer and Frost Reaper, the blades of the Fallen Prince.
Yes.
So that is going to be
Yes.
Frost is going to be primarily dual wielding, or at least those legendary weapons are.
Yep, I remember hearing about that during the European release, which that's gonna be pretty awesome having two badass weapons like that.
Hell yeah!
Moving on down to Monk.
All right, now Monk is an interesting class.
Fist weapons, yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly. Look at that Fist of the Heavens.
Finally.
Now, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I think that thing right in the middle of the fist.
It's almost like an eye, almost.
An eye, or maybe it's like a sand, like an hourglass or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
There's obviously going to be some type of movement to it.
But it looks cool, and I love it.
I've always loved fist weapons. I when I had my Monk, I always did enhancement, so I had the two weapons going on. I always wanted to transmog them to fist weapons.
Yep, and you can't because they're different animations. So, Blizzard, you should change that so we can transmog to fist
because
weapons.
It's like they had them in there, but they never made them good enough to actually be able to use.
Yep, and there's so few.
There's so few of them.
In order to use them and utilize that, you have to basically raid and get something that's the best in slot. And
But if you're raiding by that point, if you find a fist weapon during raiding, chances are you're not going to have it for very long. Because if you're doing that type of raiding, you're going to find something out that's even better. Because I don't know why they don't have like one of the top of the line fist weapons. I mean, obviously.
Sure.
I feel like rogues and monks would benefit the most from it. Obviously, you want quick attacks. I feel like a fist weapon, I mean, bring this almost in like a real-life situation, a fist weapon's going to be a lot quicker than a sword or something, or a dagger.
Yeah.
And especially for monks who be more punching in general, that's just going to be a lot more nicer movement for them. So, I mean, obviously, I would think like almost you'd get a stat bonus from having a monk with a fist weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just me nerding out, bringing it into a little bit more of a real life situation. But
and keep in mind that'll probably be a dual wield too. I bet you that
it's definitely going to be dual wielding.
Well, it says Fists of the Heavens, so it's going to be two of those guys. So that looks just freaking awesome.
But that Brewmaster staff,
look
with
at
the
that.
keg on it, that's awesome.
I bet you that thing's going to be swinging around while you're running or something.
Oh, it has to be. It definitely has to be swinging. And also, you have the gem on it. I wonder if that's going to have any type of aspect of its own. That
just looks badass. Like maybe as you're getting stacks, that gem is going to get more filled.
Or like glow brighter or something like that.
Grab it. If they could have so much opportunity with this, and they've.
It almost takes like the little emotions. They could do so many more emotions or emoticons in this game just from
Yeah,
some of these
like
weapons. Like, obviously, the Brewmaster, you now have a keg on your staff. So instead of, like, it's okay, I'll do a slash dance, and you dance or something. But now you can have, like, your own perfect, like, slash drink. And the Brewmaster pops down a staff in the ground, unties a keg, and, drinks from the keg. I would just sit
yeah,
there,
something like
typing
the
that over.
Bloodlines, right?
I'd have it a freaking hotkey down, I'd just be hitting that over and over again, just watching my guy take a drink from the keg. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love something like that. That just makes so much more in-depth in game. And obviously, yeah, you'd run your course after 10 minutes. It's like, okay, this is boring. But just having that option would be
Well, learning
so
about
cool.
this now, and, it's going to be in a year. They have a lot of time, and I'll be really curious to see what kind of tricks they have up their sleeve. Because WoW, it's not doing bad, but it's been dwindling. It's just
hmm
people losing interest in other games. It's a long time. The game's been out for over 10 years. It's
I
crazy.
think they finally hit something that they can. I mean, obviously, storyline is kind of the main thing. Is the
hmm
storyline? It's obviously going downhill. They're running the course with storyline. But
I
bring
think the storyline this one's going to be good. They're bringing it back a little bit, in my opinion,
this
since Lich King.
storyline is going to be interesting. I'm going to enjoy it. That's for sure. But
They're working
also,
with
so much
Maeve
that
and
they can
Illidan.
do more to make the game more in depth is going to be pretty awesome. Because they
Absolutely.
have everything set already. I mean, they've been doing this for 10 years. They don't really need to upgrade, the way things look anymore because they've been doing that for so long now. They don't need to work out kinks on the flows of the animations stuff like that because they've been doing it for 10 years. Now they're at the point where they can obviously go more in depth into the game and make it more, I don't want to say realistic, but yeah, I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
be cool to see how they make things go on from now on.
And the cool thing about this is I don't know exactly what these spirit points or whatever what did I see it artifact power. I guess it takes artifact power to get your upgrades on these weapons. Is it like the more you use it? I mean that's going to add such a huge
From
element to fun.
From what I remember from the European release, if I remember these correctly, it was from, you obviously get it from doing quests, dungeons,
Mhm.
raids, and I also believe PvP.
And
So
that would be
it's not
awesome.
like what it used to be. It's like, okay, if you want to go live it you're
It keeps you
unarmed,
playing
you
your
go and punch
character.
things. Yeah,
It
it's
feels
it's
less like a grind, right? It's like a whole nother group of levels.
and it's not like rep. Where it's like, okay, you got 4 levels. Okay, you're sitting
Exactly.
through it. You're
They
sitting through
really
it.
needed to get out of that. I got sick of that in Wrath of the Lich King. Let's be honest. I think we all are.
That rep grind was just
Rep grind, yeah.
so boring, and they just kept it. I
hmm
mean, I do admit with Firelands, they did kind of make it a little bit more interesting with the way they did with the in Mount Hydro, where you had opened and unlocked more dailies as you did them.
Yeah.
I was kind of fine with that just because of how it went on. You did more. You had something different every single day. It wasn't the same old, same old. All right, same quest. Kill 10 boars. Wait next day. Kill 10 boars. Oh, wait the next day. Kill 10 boars. Yay, you're honored.
Yeah.
It was definitely more personal.
hmm
All right,
Indeed.
let's
So
go on.
anyway,
Let's
just
move on to
another
the
quick
paladin.
another quick example. We told you about the Ashbringer thing about it, the sword doing Templar Verdict and Divine Storm 2 seconds after. Just a taste of the Death Knight, and this looks like it's Frost spec. Horizon Serve, raise ally now restores all health and mana upon death. The Death Knight now has an option to raise himself. That's very cool. So it's like an Ankh or something like that, and that's another one of the talents. So anyway,
hmm
just just really really exciting stuff. Really stuff that I think they're really kind of catering to their core players and people that have been around for a while because that's the sort of thing we like. We don't like it when you take content from us. We like it when you
Yes.
add customization and content.
Yes. And stop making the game so much more freaking easier. I
Yeah.
mean, thank you for letting me get to level 1 to 90 in, you know, 32 hours of gameplay. But as much as I want to experience the endgame, I want the difficulty.
Yeah.
I want to have to talk to the group that I'm playing with to be like, okay, we need to either work as a group or we're going to wipe on this boss every single time. Not,
hmm
alright, tank's AFK, healer's picking his nose. Oh, hey, my warlock, let me just solo this one boss and I'm,
Yeah.
the same level as it.
Let's just
Oh, by
heal
the
with
way, I'm
this.
halfway dead. He's dead. I never healed. Tank comes back like, oh, sweet, thank. Healer finally pulls his finger out the nose. It's like, all right, let me go wash my hands now. It's like, it's too easy. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, like if you guys watch my other videos, you see me and Glenergize play together a lot. You guys seen us just split up, and okay, obviously, I admit I die a lot. That's just my fault. But you see us split up,
It's not that
and
bad.
we'll just go just go destroy stuff. I mean, that's the only way I'm
That's
having fun,
fun.
because me and him are just joking around. But if I'm going in there with
Exactly.
a group, I mean, I'm going there with a group, I'm like, okay, I'm just want to get this stuff done and over with. Let me just plow through it, blah, 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 blah. If I'm a tank and all of a sudden the DPS pulls, I get annoyed a little bit because I'm a tank at heart. I want, that order of tank pulls, only tank pulls, blah, blah, blah. But it's at the point where that doesn't matter anymore. A DPS can pull and tank, and nothing will happen. It's not difficult anymore.
If you have BOAs, you are the tank, healer, and damage for the most
Exactly. Even without BOAs, you can do that with just regular gear. Obviously, it's a lot harder, and you obviously need to know your class a little bit. But definitely with BOAs, I mean,
part. Yeah, BOAs just make everything simpler, and I like BOAs. I like the concept of them because it rewards people that have been around a while.
hmm
But I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to
paladins.
Paladin.
Holy,
So-
that's actually pretty nice.
Looks
That
really cool.
completely opposite what if I think of holy. When I think of holy, I don't think of a purple evil glow.
Yeah, or it's like a I don't know. Like if you remember back in Burning Crusade when it was released, there was that kind of purple glowing hammer, like the token Draenei.
Yes,
when
the
they
Draenei
introduced
hammer.
The Draenei.
I can understand the Draenei hammer though because of the way that race
There's
is
a lot
and
of
the
purple in
race lore.
Exonar.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously they have that purplish, bluish lightning stuff like that. So I can understand that.
Mhm.
This I more see as like a poisonous liquid almost, rather than Draenei purple. This is more like I'm holding an axe of poisonous liquid.
I see shiny, pretty colors and kind of drool at it like a bug drools at flame.
I don't know,
Or
that
or
Ashbringer has me kind of excited.
Yep. Yeah, the Ashbringer was always one of the coolest weapons, and they took it out of the game before anybody could really get it. So thank you for bringing that back, because we want it. That would definitely be one of the things that would probably make me want to play a Paladin, because, dude, it's the Ashbringer. Holy shit.
I mean, like me and you are playing the Paladin, Jude, and Monk right
Yeah.
now. I mean, I didn't have too much fun during Ret. When I played Ret back in Vanilla, it was completely different, and as
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, I just don't have fun with it because of the way the rotations are. I would play Ret just
Yeah.
for that weapon. And the
Yeah, same
customization,
here.
like if looking at that second page and some of the customizations that they show for it,
Yeah.
oh
you
my
you
god,
don't know
it's
what anything
it's
is.
like on that second page, the top picture, the far right one, the silver gray lightning. That thing is just sick. I would totally go Ret and just walk around and Ret to hold
Oh,
that
yeah.
weapon.
Yeah, there's that picture I'm looking at. There's a fire version.
The
What
fire,
hell?
the fire
It's like-
version's pretty freaking awesome.
It looks like it's on, like it's literally just flame. I don't
During the
even know.
European release, they said that's what it was based off. It was just a flame. There was no like actual substance of the sort.
just-
It was just a flame,
My God.
that's awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. You can have so many more effects in the game with stuff like that.
Wow.
It's gonna be fun. I cannot wait.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
Moving on to Priest.
Yeah. Or one last thing. Notice the sword and shield for protection.
Yep.
So that's going to be a one main hand and offhand to obviously have your.
I'm looking at that shield a little bit closer now. Almost looks like it has 4 different sections of it
Oh, wow.
that float. Looks like the top. Actually, probably just 3. Looks like the top part with the disc and the 2 bottom pieces. Almost like it's floating in like a holy type aura.
It kind of makes you wonder. Yeah, is that going to be an aura? Is that shield kind of in the center of the shield, or that little circle in the center of the shield? Is that going to be rotating? What's going to be going on there? It looks pretty cool, though. I have to admit, that's pretty freaking cool. But yeah, let's move on to priests. So,
That holy.
discipline.
That holy. I'm sorry, skipping discipline, going straight to holy.
Sure,
That holy weapon looks freaking amazing.
It's
Talking
it's
about
like
floating
a-
pieces, holy crap.
That's like a mixture of kind of like a cataclysm kind of floating rock.
Is it just
Art
me, or are
with
those
a
2
shot.
balls on the top and bottom eyes? or on technically on the sides of it. Are those eyes?
It kind of looks like that, yeah. You know, kind of like those. Yeah, I don't know, but it looks really, really
Like
cool.
I zoomed in the picture, and it looked like the bottom was an eye, because the way that like it has a slit in there when I zoomed in on it. It's
Hmm.
if those are eyes, you definitely know they're gonna be floating around and looking.
Well, speaking of eyes, look at Shadow. It is actually, you can
Yes,
tell that's an eyeball,
that's definitely an eyeball.
which that's exciting. And I know Shadow Priests are gonna love that because it looks
Yes.
really freaking cool. I mean, look at the tip of the blade. The blade. It looks like it's been
The
dipped in
point.
some sort of poison. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And then Discipline.
Back to this
We'll
one.
see where it goes. It's a book. You have a staff with a book on the end of it. I mean, that actually
The effects
matches the
that
screenshot of Burning Crusade. Remember
yeah, yeah, it
when they had
does.
that one picture of the Janai with the book with a staff on a book?
Now the book,
Just put it together.
you know that's going to have some pretty awesome animations.
What if
Those
like
pages
you
have to
cast
be
spell?
turning as you cast it.
Oh my god! That'd
Like
be
as
so
you're casting, those pages have to be flipping like it's going
Or
through
if
the
the
spells.
text changes while you're casting or something, that would just.
Text floats out of it, like
My God.
the green gem starts glowing.
Well, they can add this sort of thing because, like, those characters that choose to do that are going to be just using that weapon. So
Hmm.
it's going to be worth it for them to implement these things. Otherwise, if it's just one raiding weapon, it's going to get replaced, and then what's the point? But with these, there's
Yep.
definitely a lot of possibilities, and it's really exciting to.
And I'm going to be interested about that now that you mentioned that. With raids, obviously it's going to be more gear now. You won't have any weapon drops, because obviously everyone's going to have the one specific weapon,
I'm cool with that, honestly. I'm actually fine with that.
which is going to be nice, because now you don't have anyone arguing over, like, oh, I wanted that weapon, I wanted the
Yeah,
weapon. It's like, you
exactly.
all have the badass weapon now, and it's
Mhm.
your weapon.
Exactly. It's my weapon. Like, this is my baby. Now let me use my baby to break your face or protect you or whatever. So,
Speaking about
exciting.
break your face, going on down to the rogues.
Rogues, yeah. More like stabbing and slicing, and
Assassination, that thing looks sick.
it looks like a dinosaur.
It looks
So,
it looks like a dead rat, and the bones of the dead rat.
I'm thinking like a mixture between like a dinosaur tooth and like something really alien, like the predator.
The predator's
You know?
skeleton.
Some sort of something's crazy
Yes.
going on with that art, and I can't wait to see what that looks like.
Now, first looking off, what the heck was this spec again? Outlaw.
Yeah,
Outlaw.
fate and fortune are the weapons.
Rogues have an outlaw spec.
Uh,
That was
oh,
assassination, solidity, and
that shit.
I guess they're changing it now. That's gonna be interesting.
Outlaw rogues. Wow. Instead of combat spec. But that makes sense. Combat was kind of stale. I always thought
Yeah.
combat sounded stupid. I'm
This looks like a
everything's
pirate
in
sword,
combat.
which goes straight along with that outlaw.
And it's called Fate and Fortune.
Which
That's
that's gonna be pretty cool.
it's like ebony and ivory. What are some other, gold and silver and gold. You
Hmm.
got all these really cool ideas. So assassination is anguish and sorrow. We got the Dreadblades, Fate and Fortune, and then we have Fangs of the Devourer, which I guess are
Which
just two fangs, which they look really cool. There's like a crystal going on there, and it looks like it's made out of like some sort of diamond or something, which is really
yeah,
neat.
I was gonna say ice, but yeah, kind of like a diamond almost. Maybe
That's
maybe a tooth. Obviously, it's the fangs of Devour, so maybe it's like a tooth from a ice creature or something, or something along those that type of line.
yeah, exactly. All right, let's
I
move
actually
down.
I actually cannot wait to play my rogue now for that assassination and
Yeah,
the outlaw, because to that point I'm freaking transmogging everything. I'm becoming a fucking pirate.
yeah. I mean, we already know. I think one of the sets is called something about like what is it? Admiral's whatever's armor.
I'm not sure about
It's
gear.
the guy that used to be at the end of Dead Mines, the Corsair guy.
Used to be.
What's his freaking name? But yeah,
Right after Smite,
there's been pirates in the game. I mean, you
yeah,
can get that hat, and you can
yep.
get the outfits
You
and
get the eye
stuff.
patch and stuff like that.
So, I mean, this is definitely not the expansion for it because we're going to be going in an alien land,
More
fighting
demon
with
type
demons
stuff.
and shit. Yeah, it's going to
Yep.
be crazy.
All right, down to shaman.
Shaman.
Once
I'm gonna
again,
be
loving that
honest.
fist weapon.
I'm
Loving
gonna
that
be
fist
honest.
weapon.
These ones are kind of underwhelming. I'm just going to say it.
I don't know. That first weapon's pretty cool. Like a wolf head with giant fangs coming out of it. I mean,
It's
you
got kind
got
of
you
like
got
a
the
droid
glowing
look to
eyes
it.
and the
Yeah,
symbol on top of it. That's
like an animal look to it. I definitely see that, and I think it's cool. I'm not. It's not going to make me want to play shaman. I need to see what you can customize to make it look like from that.
I wish the Fist of Raden was for enhancement, though.
Yeah, why isn't it?
Unless they're changing the way the two specs work, because Elemental, yeah, I don't know. It's it's gonna be interesting, but yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, to me, it's like they kind of have these three mixed up. I feel
Hmm.
like the Fist of Ra should be enhancement, Doomhammer should be restoration because it's got more of that life glow aspect to it, and the Sept of Ajara should be elemental because it's got more of that casting lightning type aspect to it.
Right.
But I agree with you. Like these just kind of feel underwhelmed compared to what we previously. I mean, obviously they're going to probably
Yeah.
add more detail. I bet the customization of it's going to be freaking amazing as well.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some sort of like, fire look to it, and maybe like a wolf kind of ghost. I try something tribal. I don't know. Maybe incorporate some sort of totem look in something.
Hmm.
But I mean, and unfortunately for me and some people that I've heard of on the internet, this new legendary weapon for each spec just further takes away shaman from ever being able to use a two hand effectively anymore. I
Yeah, I
think
know
that
you're
that's
saying you're
completely
that
gone.
big two-hand
But that's
person.
okay. I got other classes to play. Obviously, there's a lot of other.
I lost you, Glenn.
Sorry, there's a lot of other opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You're breaking in and out. You having some internet issues, or because you're
No,
kind of
I'm good.
static and breaking in and out?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, let me move over. I'm just getting some more coffee.
No problem.
Let's start the video again, and we'll I have a couple things to add about the warlock.
All right. Going to the Warlock.
Yes, obviously the scythe. I like the affliction look. Although,
Once again, looks like it's gonna be a one-headed scythe or really big ass blade.
yep, I don't know. And
I don't
then
know how I'm liking that. I don't know if I'm liking that one-handed scythe idea.
I'm kind of underwhelmed. I mean,
I mean,
it
we've
looks
seen
cool,
I
but
mean, obviously, Warlocks were the only class who could have scythes back in the day during Vanilla.
hmm
So I mean, obviously, it would be nice to give them scythes again because obviously a lot of people enjoyed that. But now it's just been
yeah,
so out there. They even got pole arms looking at scythes now. It's just it's not special anymore.
yeah. I mean, it personally with affliction, I don't think that really fits either because affliction. Look at how the way it's sharp. It looks very menacing. Affliction's not an immediate threat. It's something that comes up. So they should find some sort of art to make it look like it's going to tax you, and it's like it's an affliction. It's
Hmm.
it's causing you disease, and you're falling apart slowly and dying. I don't know.
It's
I don't know if I like it.
yeah. But also, then you can't go off first look, so it's definitely how it transforms is what a lot of people are going to be looking for.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to. This is all just based on the art that's
Original.
been
Yep.
revealed to us today, November 6th,
Yep.
2015.
I mean,
From Wowhead.
demonology, Skull definitely fits it. I don't know how they're going to make that weapon. I mean, that looks more like it's going to be like an offhand type thing, but
Yeah,
it's.
maybe that's all they have so far.
I can't wait to see what they come out with that. And then destruction, definitely. I'm definitely loving that staff. That
You know,
scepter.
it reminds me of like a Sholomance kind of feel.
Yeah, it
And looks there,
does.
there's an eye in there and the bat wings. I'm kind of wondering though why that's not demonology because the wings there, demon form. I don't know. Well, I think this
Yeah.
is gonna change. Maybe Wowhead has it mixed up, and we're gonna be laughed at the very next day tomorrow when we said that they.
I mean, I'm looking at all these on video, so everyone's going to be seeing. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what was on there. I mean,
Yep. I mean, picks didn't happen. We got the picks, so it did happen. You
hmm
saw it from us first, and this is just Wowhead's interpretation.
watch
So
me and you just have like messed up vision. Everyone else is seeing this. They're probably like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" Ah!
exactly.
All right, heading down to Warrior.
This is one I'm also pretty excited about. Warrior's been one of my favorite classes, if not my favorite.
I was never
melee.
a big fan of warrior.
I actually did raiding back in the day, and it was my first character. Well, I could technically it was my second. My first was a dwarf hunter named Glenjamin. Uh,
Nice.
but so what do you think? I think arms looks cool. Um,
Dual wielding one of those would be pretty nice.
although if you go arms and an arm spec only gets that, so you can't basically choose that weapon. If you're going fury, then you can only have one. Which brings us to war swords of Velajar.
Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty sick looking.
Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. It's like a dragon.
Yeah.
Looks like something out of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, that is actually looking pretty cool. Although out of all the offhands I've seen so far, that shield.
hmm
I mean, if they give that those 3D the spikes on that a lot of volume, it's gonna look pretty awesome.
I think I agree with you. And that sword, look at the thing right towards to the beginning of the blade, right where the hilt ends. It looks like some sort of swirling thing.
Mm-hmm.
That could be really cool. I mean, there's just limitless possibilities with this stuff.
Yeah,
Very cool
it's
stuff. I like how the first comment, Demonology 1 might be my favorite. It's concept art. There is no Demonology 1, you dumbass. Oh well.
Mistweaver's a close second. Well, he already has that problem because Mistweaver was alright.
Mistweaver. Was
Was
that
Priest
the...
weapon revealed yet? Oh, that's right, Priest. Have we seen a Priest yet?
Yeah, remember?
Ah, yes.
The
Yes,
shadow spec with the
yes, the
eyeball and
holy.
this... Yeah. I will say Mistweaver does look pretty cool. It's got like serpents on it and everything. If I can use that,
Yeah.
and then like off spec
The gong,
Brewmaster
I
with it.
guess, is gonna be kind of. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's definitely not my most favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, and there you have it. That's the content for the legendary weapons associated with the specs as of November 6th, 2015. That's the first look from the first day of BlizzCon 2015. So,
Now, looking through these, which one's your favorite? I mean, which one do
ooh,
you think would be like the first class you would pick to go grab one of the weapons?
that's a fantastic question, and I am the worst person to ask something like this. But looking at these, um, I'm gonna be honest. I think
Ah,
man,
it's
this is that's really hard to
yeah, it
ask.
is. Like I'm a toss up between Frost Death Knights, Vengeance Demon Hunters, obviously Druids, but I'm gonna put that to the side and want to try to hold out my
hmm
my love of Druids. Because I mean, as cool as that would be, I know I'll get there eventually. And definitely Windwalker Monks. Those are the three that I'm.
Yeah, I those gloves,
Those
really
fist
cool.
weapons.
I those are gonna have they're gonna have really cool animations.
Yep. I mean, obviously there have been, three spiked Wolverine type fist weapons before in the game,
hmm
but nothing like what these are going to be able to do. It's
Now, Jacob, this is just aesthetically pleasing and my personal, completely my personal taste. And you'll probably figure this out as I'm saying this, but I'm a big fan of kind of glowy, dreamy colors, and a lot of this expansion is going to have to do with the Emerald Dream. I've as I'm understanding, so it's going to be there's going to be some details with the Emerald Dream, which is kind of like this night elf or elf kind of kind of world, kind of like dream world, like they can go there and be immortal. Like it's like a
mm-hmm.
retirement home. It's like an immortal retirement home or something. I don't really know how it works, but I've always just been really captivated by the lore of the Emerald Dream. And based on that alone, the kind of glowy effects, I love black lights. I think the silver hand for Holy Spec is my favorite. I just love that purple glow and that kind of shadow flame. Just looks really cool. But there's so many. That's so hard to say, but just looking at the
Yep.
concept art of this one that they gave us for Holy, I don't know. It I don't know. Zooming in on it, it's not that great, but I just like it. I like
Let's see,
purple.
holy. Monk, not monk, paladin, right?
Holy Paladin, yeah, the silver hand.
I must have, oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Call me. I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for that old school. It's probably a little bit of my nostalgia for um, the concept art of the Burning Crusade when that came out. I think that was one of the weapons.
I mean,
Something
yeah.
was similar to that.
Looking closer at it, it definitely looks a bit more Draenei-ish. I mean, because that more looks like almost a nice cut purple crystal like what you would see in there. Because obviously the
Yeah.
old previous hammers were a little more rough. This looks like it's a little bit more fine shaped, and you can kind of get that purple glow on the inside of it now that I'm looking at it more in detail.
Yeah, like just a
But
solid purple glowing rock. This looks awesome.
yeah, when you mentioned glowing and stuff like that, I originally thought you were going to say holy priest
See, there's
because
a
of the
lot that
glowing of
glow.
that staff.
It's also I really like that restoration staff. Oh my gosh, on druids, that looks so freaking cool. It's like a tree with some armor on it. God, that
Yes,
looks
that
amazing. Like I'm so hyped for that now. It's ridiculous.
it's. I'm excited for this expansion. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been kind of iffy on the last two, but
Yeah, no, this content
this
alone, they're bringing back some customization other than just transmog, you know?
hmm like I
That's
don't know who you used to watch. Like I don't know if you or anyone who's gonna be watching this kind of knows him, but Nim, one of the old YouTubers that made his own videos back in the day on that played Warcraft. Like I'm wondering if it's gonna start bringing guys like him back. People that who've played the game since vanilla and has kind of given up because then obviously it's old, boring, repetitive. I wonder if this is gonna be something that brings those guys back for a while.
I would enjoy that. I'm sure a lot of people would too.
All right. All right. Well, now that we looked through all those, one of the topics that we're coming back to, battlegrounds. During the European release, I know I mentioned you mentioned earlier that they're thinking about doing something for the specs, tree
Hmm.
specs for PvP.
That's what I've been hearing, yeah.
They're actually going to be doing that. What is going to be is you pretty much, almost from what I remember hearing, is what they're saying is you're basically as you PvP you're going to be leveling up in PvP, which you get your own PvP spec for. So instead of all right, let me go get this gear and all right, I've been PvP farming now, and I'm 100. I've been 100 for 2 months now. You're a fresh 100. We go against each other. I'm gonna one shot you because my gear is so much better than you. It's from what I heard, it's not gonna be like that anymore. It's gonna be more balanced, a lot more balanced because gear is not going to be a big issue anymore. It's going to be everyone's more. It's going. Sounds like they're going to try to base it more on everyone's more. I wouldn't say the gear level, because obviously you're going to have people who do more farming and raids and stuff like that and have better gear, obviously. But from what it sounds like, they're going to be altering it so everyone has a more of a fighting chance.
It
Oh,
seems really cool. They're like taking a pause with PvP right now, stopping it all together, and they're just reworking the whole thing, which is what they should have done expansions ago, in my
yes,
opinion.
it was a long waiting time that they finally redid PvP. And as you level, instead of being higher gear level, you get different type of spells that you can cast. So you're going to be specializing your PvP fight tactics to the spells you earn while PvPing.
So almost
It's
like
now
a
more
League of
it
Legends
yes, it's more skilled
PvE.
based. It's more skilled based than gear based, which is the one thing I've never wanted to PvP because it's always gear based. It's finally going to be skill based, where it's taking you and your skills on how you play your character and know how to play your character to be able to beat somebody else.
Exactly. And one thing I'm just reading right off of Wowhead's main page is specifically with classes, how are talents changing? And this is coming from people working at Blizzard. We don't necessarily like that there's the right choice all the time for talents.
Because there never
That
is.
means
There
they
shouldn't be.
finally woke the frick up. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy to read that. You have no idea. I literally cannot explain to you how happy hearing
Because
that
there
is for people.
shouldn't be a right choice. There shouldn't be, oh, this spec's the best. This is how you do everything. Blah
Well,
blah
the
blah.
very next
It's
bullet point is they say that we always take this one or you're dumb. We really want it to be about what you want to do, not about being a wrong choice. Fucking thank you, Blizzard. You should have never missed that. People have always been saying that. You could have caught on to
Mhm.
that much quicker, but please, please do something about that. Thank you.
Do you remember back in the days of vanilla where if you want to, you could go halfway through one, say like if you're a paladin, halfway through protection, and then shove the half of them into holy, and be a
Yes.
half tank, half healer.
Yes. The
Those,
hybridization. Those were so much fun.
because I mean, obviously, yes, you know, the end talent that you could possibly get to was pretty awesome, but if you learned how to play a champion and built it the way that you like to play it, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. You're playing it the way that you played it best. You were amazing in your own aspect, and you could
Mhm.
customize it so nicely. You could be like back in the days for druids. I mean, I know I keep going back to druids because that's because I know it that the most. You could go tank and DPS and kitty, and obviously they were overpowered. You could be one of the best players on the server. I mean, obviously everyone has their own skill levels. Warlocks, you could go freaking destruction and affliction, and now you're not only are you hitting hard, but you're also putting up a bunch of dots, and it was based on how you play. You could customize it. It was amazing, and it actually made you think on how to build it.
Mm, beautiful.
I can't wait.
They
I hope
really,
they bring
yeah.
that back. I know they took it out because we got to that point of like, oh, all right, you're level 80. Now instead of having you give like a skill every single level, because at that point you basically maxed out both trees and you're overpowered already. Oh, by the way, that's just dual spec. We're just gonna give you every 15, what is it, 15 levels you get a new spec now or new talent.
Talent. I think it's yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
every 15 levels.
every 15 levels you get a new talent. Oh, by the
So
way, half of them
yeah,
don't do shit for what you do.
I should specify up to 60 because then it goes 60 then or no it goes 75. I should say after Wrath Lich King because then it's after 75 it's 90 and then 100 and now it's going to be 110 which is exciting.
Hmm.
And speaking of a couple things, just a couple things I'd like to add about transmog in the new expansion, just some bullet points. This is what Blizzard was saying about the new transmog system. You can find and look, you can find a look, and the look is stored without using bank or storage. You can just apply the looks to your character. You could even hotkey a look, so maybe some macros or something like that, which sounds
That's gonna be
amazing.
nice.
You can save versions of a look that you can just put on and take off. For example, you can have a nice outfit just for town raiding, etc. at the touch of a button. Fuck yeah.
That's gonna be amazing because obviously, I mean,
hmm
for people who've been watching the videos that me and you do,
hmm
we obviously like to make our chicks look sexy.
God, yeah. Who
And now
doesn't?
that you don't have to hold on to the gear for that, you can just find the gear, go along. It's like, all right, I want that look,
Yeah.
got it.
I want to look like a badass part of the time. Like, I don't want to go into a raid where we're facing imminent doom and it's really
And I'm
epic
in
and
a thong.
crazy.
It's like,
Exactly.
woohoo, yeah, let's do this.
Keep
No,
on,
I want to
yeah.
go on, put on my big. I actually hope they actually finally add volume to pants and chest
Mhm.
because that's just going to look. Obviously, I want to walk in. It's like, all right, yeah, I just got off the beach. Now what? Yeah, let's do this. And all of a sudden, become like this big muscle person. Just be able like that looks like that guy can take a punch because he's a tank.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Not wow. That skimpy chick's gonna be tanking. What the fuck?
Exactly. Or like what? Like face. Face to the forehead or forehead face palm,
Palm
whatever.
face, face palm, face to the
Exactly.
forehead. Wait,
But
what? Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's really exciting, and they're going to have a search system for transmog, and they're working on getting a nice UI done for the release. It sounds like Blizzard's doing everything I wanted them to do for the last couple
I
expansions,
feel
and
like they're
I've
pulling some things also from all the other games. Like obviously the storage
mhm.
of transmog stuff. They definitely pulled that from wow,
That
what the
sounds like
heck? Like
something
Diablo.
GTA. Well, you can save their outfits and stuff, which is kind of neat. But
I mean,
yeah,
Diablo had
yeah,
that.
Diablo.
You got your item, it saved the look of that. You did not need to keep that item anymore.
Hmm.
Then you just go to the transmog that person. It's
That's a
like, all right,
really good
let's
point.
just go down the list of, say, all the boots. I mean, I love that because obviously at that point you could disenchant your item or destroy it, whatever, and be able to build new items. But you'd still be able to
Exactly.
have that look you wanted.
Exactly. And I think Blizzard will eventually, like, in the case of fist weapons, why we can't transmog our or one-handed maces on our shaman or rogue to look like fist weapons. Well, we want to use those animations, Blizzard, because like
They're
they're different
badass.
and they're awesome. And please let us do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yes, it's gonna be hard. It's like, all right, well, you got a sword, so it's obviously gonna put you for the coding is gonna put you in this type of motion. And then you transmog, and now you gotta change that coding somehow, and
Oh,
alterations like
they
that.
gotta do it. They gotta do it.
They have to do it because
And it's
there's some pretty awesome fist weapons in the game already.
yeah,
I mean, obviously, I don't know who's gonna want to start transmogging the weapons now,
right, right.
but even still, though, it's like give us it for us, give that option to us for the next 6 months before the new expansion comes out.
You know,
And I bet there's still going to be people who, even though these weapons are awesome, they're going to want to get a weapon from the old because they just like it that much more already.
you know,
I mean, obviously, everyone's going to have their favorite.
exactly. Everybody will have their favorite.
And obviously, everyone has a, like, taking hunters. Obviously, if you're, like, obviously, you enjoy beast. If someone plays a hunter and they enjoy beast mastery, they want a beast mastery. But maybe they don't like guns, period. They just don't like the look of guns. Obviously, they don't want to train spec to marksman because it's not beast mastery.
Right.
So I bet they're still gonna want to be able to transmog their weapons so they can have the weapon they want. Obviously, which would be probably a bow at that point. So I hope they leave that option in there because obviously there's not going to be a lot of people going to complain about it, but
Mhm.
there will be people that complain about it, and there are going to be people who want to be able to still personalize their character by transmogging the weapon.
Right. Well, it's always about, pleasing the most people.
hmm
That's what you got to do, unfortunately. Can't please everyone, so.
But if they're going to be allowing transmogged weapons, that's not going to displease anybody, though. So I mean,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
should be able to just do it because at that point they're going to please more people than just.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's looking at these weapons and the things that they're going to do in this expansion. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, it's just crazy awesome. But anyway, I think that pretty much covered everything we can talk about now. I think we might play our characters, get some more levels or something if Jacob you're up for it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely up for it. I was actually excited for this day. Once you called me early and said we had to talk about this, I couldn't
You
wait
knew
for
there
it.
was some cool stuff. Yeah, I was waiting for BlizzCon because obviously I wanted to know the release date of the expansion, but I knew there was going to be some interesting stuff. So,
I know this video ran long. Was it probably gonna be like an hour maybe or so for this video? But I mean, it's gonna be worth it to be able to listening to
yeah,
all this and obviously a lot of
remembering,
information.
yeah,
But thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want, go check out my other videos, see what me and Glenergize have been talking about a little bit, going to the past and stuff like that. I
yep,
know
that's what our accounts are about.
you
That's what
had
we're
your
about right now.
two characters that you used to do the dungeons with. I forgot what your actual season that was called. Where you're running
Oh,
your
dual boxing adventures
yes,
or
Steel Boxing Adventures. Sorry, I don't know why that
yes,
couldn't come to mind. Are you still
no
actually
problem.
running that episode, or
I think I'll be picking that back up. Probably tomorrow. I have a lot of free time this weekend, and I've
I
been
know you
wanting to
ran
get
into
back
time
into
issues
it.
and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, go check out his Dual Boxing Adventures. I know whenever he does dungeons, he kind of talks about the nostalgic parts of it and goes back in the past. It's always nice to kind of see how things are and learn about the old things. So go check him
Like
out and
stopping in time, yeah.
yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Later.